Now standard 9, today I'll be teaching you Act 1, Scene 2. So now the scene takes place in Belmont, a hall in Portia's house. Now the characters involved in this particular scene are Portia and Nerissa. Now we have been introduced to Portia in the earlier scene where Bassanio speaks a lot about this particular lady, a rich, a beautiful lady. She's also fairer than the word fair, and so many suitors around the world has come to marry this beautiful lady. So now when we are introduced to this lady, we have to see the mental state of this beautiful lady, and she has been accompanied by her maid, Nerissa, who is not only a maid, but a friend as well. This lady, the servant, or the maid servant, she is quite intelligent, and she speaks to Portia like a friend. And she's quite bold and frank. So whatever she would want to share with Portia, she very daringly, she would speak to Portia, whether she likes it or not. So now in this particular scene we come to know Portia. By my trot, Nerissa, my little body is a weary of this great world. Now like this first scene, in Act 1, Scene 1, the scene opens with a sad note where Antonio complains about his particular sadness and he does not know the reason. Now in Scene 2 also, we come to know that this scene opens also with a sad note where Portia is complaining that her little body is fed up, was very tired of this great world. Now in response to this particular sentence, Nerissa says, "You would be, sweet madam." Says, yes, you should be tired of this great world. If your miseries were in the same abundance as your good fortunes are. Says, you should be. Because in your life, there are no miseries, there is no pain, there is no suffering, there is no agony. You have good fortune in abundance, in plentiful. And there is no room for such things like pain, suffering, or any kind of problems, difficulties. So if you had both your fortune, your good fortune, and if you have miseries, problems, difficulties, sufferings in equal amount, perhaps you would be a happier person. Then she says, I have also observed that those who have got too much, here I am talking about the very, very rich, filthy rich people. So they suffer with a disease similar to the people who have got nothing. I am talking about the extremely poor people. The people who have got too much and the people who got nothing, they suffer with the same disease. So, now remember, this has been spoken by a maid servant, right? And then she says, now those people who have got too much, they age very fast because they have got a richness in abundance. Okay. And those who are living in between, their lives are balanced. They live happier lives as well as they live for a longer time. Now this is what the servant is actually now trying to explain to Portia. why she is fed up of this great world. Because her fortune is so good, she is such a rich lady. So there is no room for misery, problems, sufferings, and difficulties. But actually, Portia is having some kind of mental problem. Something is troubling her. When anything troubles you, then all of us get irritated and fed up. So when she hears what the servant or maid servant has to say, she was very taken up. She appreciated that and she says, good sentences and well pronounced means well said. What you said, it is true. Then Nerissa goes on to say, they would be better if well followed. If instructions were given and instructions were followed, then things would change, things would be better. Then Portia says, if to do were as easy as to know what were good to do. So now everybody says a lot of things. We'll do this. When we see our politicians before the elections, they make a lot of promises. And then when time really comes, they are not able to fulfill their promises which they had made. So things, we say, very easily we say things, but it is very difficult to perform them. And if people could do what is being told to them, then she says, chapels had been churches and poor men's cottages, princesses' palaces. If things were so easily said and done, then chapel is a small place of worship where the Christians go and pray. The same place of worship, when it is bigger in size, it is called a church. And then cottages or huts. If things were so easily said and done, there wouldn't be any poor people living in this world. All of them would be living in big, big mansions and palaces. So, then she says, it is a good divine that follow his own instructions. Okay. Now, so it is a blessing from God. If somebody could follow his own preaching, like what we say, practice what you preach. It is much easier to preach than to practice the same preaching of one. Then she says, it is very easy for me to teach 20 people of good things. Okay. Giving good advice, giving good coaching or training or advice and various kinds of suggestions to be followed. But if I sit like one of those 20 to listen to my own teaching, it won't be that easy. I will not be able to follow my own teaching if I had to sit as one of those 20 students and listening to my own explanation. Now, what is the problem over here is that Portia is trying to explain as to what she is being troubled. So then she says, the brain may devise laws for the blood. Now, according to your bio, the brain plays an important role in your body. It controls your body. Okay? But when it comes for the youth, Now youth are more, what do you say, hyperactive. Okay. They have a lot of josh in them. And they do not pay heed to the advice given by the elderly people. And now, then she compares that to the youth. Youth also does not like to listen to good advice. So good advice is crippled by the younger generation, which has been compared to the hare, a kind of a rabbit that moves or jumps wildly, unaware of the danger that has been explained or advised to him. But then that is not the actual reason. Her main complaint is, but this reasoning is not in the fashion to choose me a husband. Now actually what happens, her problem is that she has been denied the right to choose a husband of her own choice. That is the biggest problem that you actually have facing this problem. So she says, I have been denied my rights to choose a husband of my own choice has been curbed by my father. My father has snatched away this freedom of marriage, the choice of marriage for myself. I have to choose according to his will. And I cannot deny the person who I dislike. So here she is complaining. I'll just read the text. Oh, me, the word choose, the choice of marriage. I may neither choose whom I would. Means she's been deprived the rights of choosing any boy of her own choice. No refuse whom I dislike. Even a person who I dislike, and if he has to marry me, I cannot refuse. So is the will of a living daughter curbed by the will of a dead father. Okay. Now here, the word will. The first time the word will is used, it is the choice of the lady of marrying her own husband, or choosing a husband of her own choice. And the father's will, the will of a father means the written document that her father has written before his death, that his daughter will marry according to his will. A written document that has been given that his daughter will marry through the choice of those three caskets in the lottery system. So that is why she is actually in a disturbed mood, because a girl, the choice of her marriage has been curbed, or she has been denied the right to choose a husband of her own choice. So this is the reason why she feels that she is fed up of this world, because the most important part of her life has been curbed or has been denied. So she has no rights to choose a husband of her own choice. So I'll end it up over here, and tomorrow I shall carry on with the further text. Thank you.